I'm going to hold the hair a little bit further up than where her ends stop. That way I can have a little bit of room with my scissors to come in, take a snip, and I'm going to move so I don't cut the same spot twice. That's about 4. We're going to see how nice and soft that is. What that does is allows me to keep my line and my length while softening up the whole look. So we're going to go a little bit deeper. I'm just going to keep working down towards those ends. We're going to replicate the exact same cut, leaving a little space between the ends of the hair and my fingers so I have room for my blenders to come in. We're going to start high and we're going to cut in a few spots as we work down towards the ends. This is really customizable. Again, it's going to depend on the density of hair you're working on, meaning how much hair is there per square inch. If there's a very high density, you might need to do a little bit more cutting. And it's also really up to the guest's preference. So I'm taking my second section, we're adding it to the first, and we're going to continue to cut the exact same cut we've been doing. We're going to start up high, and we're going to work down low. Keeping those fingers moving as I cut, so I don't cut the same spot twice. I'm going to do the same exact cut here. So you can see that I'm recreating the same sectioning with this dry cut that I did with the wet cut. That's going to allow my shape of hair and the weight of the hair to all flow together. So nothing's really contradicting each other in this haircut and style, and everything really works for her. Love that. Okay, so next we're going to do, I'm going to change the sectioning out. This is where I separate my sectioning from the wet cut and dry cut within the interior. I'm going to do a vertical section from her part down to her hairline, maybe behind the ear. Just depends on the density of hair you're working on. Good amount of hair that you can work with. Okay, so I have my wide tooth comb, so I can really comb through. I'm going to elevate this hair up and forward. We're going to find those ends nice and solid. And what I want to do, I don't want to thin them out, I just want to soften them slightly. So starting in the interior, the part closest towards her section, her natural part. And I'm really just taking maybe 2 to 3, maybe even an inch away from her ends. And we're just slowly softening however much we want to soften. This way doesn't change the cut at all. Doesn't make the hair wispy, but it just makes it flow and more manageable. Vertical section, we're going to take that same piece. We're going to elevate. It doesn't necessarily need to be up high where we had it before, but it does need to be up to where you can see the ends and your cutting line. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and over direct it forward so that we can keep that same flow of weight with the shape of the haircut. Okay, so once I get my tension here with my fingers, I can drop this hair down to cut, and it's not going to change what happens above my fingers because it's already set. Kind of like a little clamp, right? So now I'm good. I can come down here where it's a little bit more comfortable. And we're just going to have some fun softening this out. You can see her hair is still nice and full, thick. I love to do this after a nice fresh cut, especially when you change the haircut up, because sometimes that blunt line on the ends can stack up on thick hair and look too bulky. Okay, lots of nice movement. We're going to go ahead and go the other side. I know I already did our softening here, so I'm going to go ahead and jump back to that vertical section that goes from her center part down to her hairline right behind her ear. And we're going to do the exact same setup. So I'm going to pull this forward, elevate up to see my cutting line nice and neat. I just need to make sure that I'm going to start in the interior closer to her part, and then I can work out towards the end and down towards the perimeter. All right, we're going to repeat those steps on this side. And I'll just check the back out before we curl, and I'm going to run my hands through it to make sure it feels good as far as the weight distribution goes. Visually, just seeing where that weight lives in my sections, and I can customize wherever I want to take that weight out. If it's not too heavy here, I don't need to cut here so much, but if it's heavier here, I can choose to cut there a little bit more. That way I'm not getting too thin in certain areas. Okay, so now I'm going to do one more here. Going one section past that center back, just so I can make both sides go both ways, and there's balance in this haircut within the weight of the actual haircut. So starting at the top, and I'm going to slowly work down anywhere from 1 inch to maybe 3 or 4 inches into the interior. That's up to you. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do before I start styling, I want to take this very center back. I know we're not going to really cut any more layers, but what I want to look at is the hair that didn't reach my cutting line in the beginning. So here's her perimeter, it's fallen out. Here's her interior layers. I just want to clean this up right in the middle here. So again, I'm not trying to create a layer here necessarily, but I want to make sure that some of those ends are off and healthy. Vertical sections, top to bottom, and we're going to bring this straight to the back. Because remember earlier we lifted and some of this hair didn't really make it. So we're just going to make sure that we touch it all today. And I'll do one more section that goes right behind the ear. We're going to bring all of this back. And again, I just want to make sure we're clean. In the center. We're going to go straight back to the wall behind our client. I'm going to clean those ends up just a little.